discuss using mouthwash on Shabbos and brushing your teeth, and how these two sugyas converge beautifully. That's a tall order, but we're going to give pieces of each. On your way back, just bring a cup with you. I have a drink, I just don't have a cup. Thank you. So, we'll begin with brushing your teeth. Famously, Rav Moshe Feinstein has a tshuva in Arachayim, Simin, Chelik Aleph, Simin, Kuf Yud Beis, in which Rav Moshe, in about 8 lines, lists 5 reasons that one, I don't need the cover, lists 5 reasons that one is not allowed to brush his teeth on Shabbos. Does anyone guess what the multiple reasons you cannot brush your teeth on Shabbos? Let's go. Number 1. Might bleed. Interesting. Number 1. Number 2. Squeezing. Number 3. What do you say? You said squeezing, smearing. Good. No, malabid. Should I say anything? Smoothing. You just said that 3 times now. We can go for 4 if you like. Number 4, Ramesha says, is going to be an Isser of Achana. That when you finish brushing your teeth, you're washing your toothbrush for a usage that's not on Shabbos. What do you mean? I brush my teeth 6 times a day. So the last time, good. Again. Every one of the things we're about to discuss, have an answer to, which is fine. We have to contend with all 5. He's contending with when you normally you started with bleeding. I don't know. Last time I bleed, each issue. You're washing your toothbrush afterwards, and that is an action for chol. You brush your teeth at Shabbos night. You brush your teeth Shabbos morning. When you finish, you wash the toothbrush. You're washing that toothbrush for when? For Matzei Shabbos. And number 5 is uvdin dechol. That you're using a weekday utensil for brushing teeth. So there's 5 issues over here. And the truth is, in order to deal with this, we have to deal with all 5. So we're not going to have time to deal with all 5. We're going to knock off the ones which we could do simply, like you just said. For example, you bleed. So the answer is, don't bleed. If you bleed, it's usher. If you don't bleed, it's mutter. Good. We dealt with bleeding. Next. We'll get there. We're going to get there. Slow. You're jumping to 5. We're going to get there. Get there. Good. And number 2, of the chol, you get a Shabbos toothbrush. Now,
so it's not the uvda,
it's the clean. Now, there are those who argue, I believe it's in Ar Letzion, I didn't get a chance to look it up, of the chol is the probably most complicated way to be magdir. Rav Moshe is obviously learning that a utensil, which its designed usage is to do a dvar isser, thereby gets the stigma of isser, even though, one second, no, even though in a moment we're going to explain that there might be a permissible way of using the same toothbrush. But Rav Moshe is clearly learning that the same item, if its normal usage is Isser, is of the Dechol. They get out of that as you buy a Shabbos toothbrush, or it doesn't have to be a Shabbos toothbrush. For this issue, it has to be a toothbrush for a Shabbos.
But it's still an uvda Dechol.
No, so for the uvda, for the maisa, this we're about to deal with, that's the Isser chelik, which is the next thing, meaning which is going to be the mimarech. Right, very good. So good. So the bleeding we took care of. Of the dechol, so far we said you have a separate toothbrush, you write the word Shabbos on it. I didn't see you have to buy a Shabbos toothbrush, none of that. But for that issue, Shabbat. Good. What was number 3? Number 3 was... let's go to Hachana first. We can do the easy ones first. Hachana. So there's 2 answers for Hachana. Answer number 1 for Hachana is don't wash it, and you don't have a problem with Hachana. That's one way. And bleeding is going to be told of shchita, of slaughtering, that you come to bleed, or which it's called making a chaval. You're not allowed to call it bleeding on Shabbos. To get it out of Hachana, there's multiple answers. The easiest answer is don't wash it, and there's no problem with Hachana. Shkoyach, that was easy. Answer number 2 is you could maybe utilize the idea of Rosh Hashanah that when you use something, when I finish a sefer, a normal person puts it back in the shelf. So when I put it back in the shelf, is that a chana for after Shabbos? Says Rosh Hashanah, no. Why? Because it's the soif ha'maisa, it's the end of the maisa. So maybe one could say, when I finish the toothbrush, I wash it. It's part of the action. Now, when it comes to the world of Achana, that's something that we could discuss and we could debate, and it's a massive arichos. So I'm just going to give you the potential different ideas that one could say. Number 3, one could say, is that why am I washing my toothbrush? Am I washing it for when I use it tonight? It's going to be clean? Or am I washing it because I don't want it sitting on my counter looking gross? And thereby I'm just washing it so it looks normal. So again, each person has their own toothbrush etiquette, which we were not going to get involved in right now. But that would be another way to get out of this issue. For that, maybe one would say, what gives you the heter to wash it? Just put it in the drawer or in the cabinet.
Yeah, if you have a separate toothbrush for Shabbos, now you're only doing it for Shabbos.
Oh, so it's still going to be Isser Nachana. Famously, the Salmas Chaim, Yosef Chaim Sonnenfeld, discusses, apparently in his shul, in his shtibel, they had coffee cups, which they only used on Shabbos. Maybe the shul is only used on Shabbos, maybe the coffee is only used on Shabbos, I don't know. And he famously discusses, can we wash out the cup? Because it's not a chana, it's a chana for next Shabbos. Is there a chana mi-Shabbos l'Shabbos? The Pashtas Halachah is, the answer is, it's still Asr Shabbos l'Shabbos. But as you're seeing, there's going to be many avenues out of a chana. And I'll give you another avenue, and this, for those who brush their teeth a lot, I recently realized this as I've been having some tooth issues. That's why this a little, that's because the thing is still stucking in, and I'm having a shtickle issue over there. It's not anyways, too many details. But the point of the story is sometimes you brush your teeth indiscriminately. You brush it Friday night, you brush it Shabbos morning, maybe you're going to brush it again after the Shabbos Suda. If that is true in your life, if it's not true, you've never in the middle of the day brushed your teeth, then fine. If it's true in your life that you might brush it again, it's not a chana. As we once upon a time spoke, a chana is only vadai for after Shabbos. That's going to be in the world of a chana. So now we're left with the big two. The big two, which is schita, squeezing, and mimareach, smoothing, which is the toothpaste. So we'll take the easier one is mimareach, smoothing, and the pashtus. There are certain contemporary halachic authorities that say for some reason, which is not a discussion right now, that toothpaste is not mimareach because it's destroying to destroy. It's not called smoothing if the whole tachlis of the smoothing is to re-smooth it on your teeth and then to make it completely whatever. There are those that say such, but the Pasha says that is not a svara lahalacha. I was told, again, none of this is in print, that the Ramesh's tshuva was written to a certain Rav who's currently alive. And this was the svara that the Rav was telling Ramesha, and in response, Ramesha held that. So whether that's a svara or not, the pashtus in halacha is no. I think there's also, they quote maybe a Shvisa Shabbos or something. The pashtus is you can't get out of the toothpaste issue, and toothpaste is a bayah. Whichever way you twist it, you cannot use toothpaste. Someone say, what about Shabbos toothpaste? That's not called toothpaste. Toothpaste is something that is thick. Shabbos toothpaste is called mouthwash in English. So which part of it is going to be usher? The answer is probably going to be all of the above. And if one's going to say, I'll keep my toothpaste on my toothbrush for Shabbos, it's for sure included in the isser is the brushing of the teeth. So you can't get out of that because you're brushing your teeth. So that is the contemporary mahalech absak. So that's what we're going to get to in a moment. That's going to get to in a moment. So I called Shabbos toothpaste, which doesn't have an issue of memoreach because it's glorified mouthwash. Basically, it's liquid toothpaste, which we'll get to in a minute. We are running out of time. The fifth issue is schita. Schita is squeezing. So now this gets involved in a lengthier discussion. If you like, each one of these, we could take at separate intervals. But for now, we're going to try to give a dot of each to get a full completion of the sugya. Is that squeezing? What level of isser of squeezing is a toothbrush? Deraisa or derabanan? You all know the answer to this question. What is derabanan? Very good. Very good. It's not a beged, it's hair. What is the isser of schita on hair? It's a din derabanan. Why is it usher? Because the water is trapped between the hairs, and when you squeeze it, you're squeezing it out to din derabanan. So now, how close or far do bristles have to be yes or no included in this isser derabanan? Meaning, when you go and you buy a Shabbos sponge, which is synthetic bristles, which just means it doesn't absorb. Once it doesn't absorb, you're out of the Isser Da'araisa of Schita. But now you have the Isser Da'rabanan of Schita's Seir. So if the bristles are far apart, like a toilet brush, then of course there's no Isser. Why not? Because it doesn't hold any water. You take a toilet brush, you put it in the toilet, it doesn't hold any water. You pick it up and you hold it, the water just falls out. It's not holding any water. When it comes to a toothbrush, this is again, each prat here we could discuss at length. We have 3 minutes to get to the end, which is going to be a miracle. So let's just try to take it simply. When it comes to a toothbrush, at most, it would be an Issa Derabanan of hair, at most. At the very least, it would be if you look at the Shabbos toothbrushes that they sell and your regular toothbrush and you see the difference in width separation of the bristles, it's very, very, very minute, which maybe would lead one to believe that the issue of schita on the toothbrush itself is not a problem. Okay, but l'mais, that would be the Isser schita seir of the Rabbanan. The way to get out of that, it would be these Shabbos toothbrushes which have wider bristles, or to argue and say that there is no Isser of schita because it's synthetic, it does not absorb. Yes?
So any sponge on Shabbos, we run the sponge on Shabbos that you use for like washing.
Yeah?
If it doesn't absorb, it's still can be
No.
a problem.
So. If it doesn't absorb, what's it made out of? The sponges is a whole singer.
But
If it's synthetic, there will never be an Issa Daraisa. If it's synthetic, it will never be an Issa Daraisa. Then it's only Shalav Schita Seir. Does it need a Hachshar or not? The Pasha's answer to the question is no, as long as it is synthetic and the bristles are some level apart that they do not hold water, which any person could do just by putting it in water and picking it up and seeing it does not hold water. That is what the Shabbos brushes do.
holding water or if it's wet.
I do not know the answer to that question. I don't know what you just said. Synthetic does not absorb. Synthetic does not absorb. So if there's water on a synthetic item, if I take a piece of plastic, if I look at this cup, there's some liquid on the side. It's not absorbed in the cup. It's on the outside.
Even though when you squeeze it, stuff might come out. Water.
I don't understand what you just said. If I take this cup and when it's empty and I shake it, water will come off. I'm not coming out of the cup. It's on the outside. So if
you take a synthetic sponge and you put it under water and it doesn't hold. You hold it, it goes like this.
Yeah.
Now if you squeeze it, something
Yeah.
a little bit of water that can still come out.
you're not, again, if we're talking about the same item, I have a hard time making a statement because it could be in your brain, you're talking about one thing, in my brain, you're talking about something else. But once you have these synthetic sponges, which have bristles far apart, when you squeeze it, you're not taking out any water between the things. It's just holding it. It's just holding it there. But again, that's a different topic. We have now 90 seconds. Those are the 5 issues. So the way out of these issues is a Shabbos toothbrush with a liquid, which is called Shabbos toothpaste. I'm going to say an idea right now, which really needs to be elaborated. Are you allowed to use mouthwash on Shabbos? Is a large shayla lehalacha. Many paiskim, no, not many. That was extreme. Some paiskim want to be machmir if it has a disinfecting agent in it, right. What's it called? Not Crest. What's the other one called? Right, kills 99.9%. So they want to taina. The Chutshani writes that if it just helps for good breath, that's allowed. But if it has a choymera machtei, if it has a killing agent in there, he wants to say it's aser, I'll say it's a refuah, that you're making your body better by killing those creepy crawlers that are crawling around your mouth. Doesn't matter your kavana. The way to argue on this, which is what the paiskim, if not many, if not all, do, is it's like your chicken soup. Is that even if it's killing it, it's something that you use indiscriminately, whether you have germs in your mouth or not, and therefore there will be a heter on the mouthwash. There's a separate issue on mouthwash, which now we are out of time, which is that it's imparting a good smell to your mouth. Are you allowed to impart a good smell to your body? A large another sugya, and what we'll say is the words of the Mishnah Brura and the Shmir Shabbos Kilchasa, that you're allowed to spray perfume on your body, but not on your clothing. The Isser of making something smell in Shabbos does not apply to the Gufa Adam. It's a big machlekes. This is how the Mishnah Brura learns. Therefore, there will not be that issue. Therefore, you could use mouthwash in Shabbos. So what is the eitzah? The eitzah that we're going to give, which it's going to take me another, hopefully, 60 to 90 seconds, is as follows. If I have the example we like to give is, let's say this cup was full. Let's use a bottle. Everyone here, I'm sure, has seen a bottle in their life. You take a bottle, you fill it up with water, you take a bottle brush. Not the one with the foamy piece on the end that just gets nasty, no one knows why it's there. But the regular good old-fashioned bottle brushes with bristles, okay? If I take a full bottle and I take my bottle brush and put it inside, and while it's underwater, I go up and down to clean the bottle, did I just do schita, even if it could have caught the water between the bristles? Did I just do schita? The answer is probably not, because whatever's going in is coming out. Can you do schita underwater? It's a good thought-provoking idea to think about. Can you do schita underwater? Shlomo Zalman says no. Shlomo Zalman says no. Again, we could be meirach on this in Mirza Hashem. So the eitzah, if you want to mamish get out of all issues, is going to be take the mouthwash, put it in your mouth. Take the toothbrush, put it in your mouth. Be careful not to dribble on yourself. And then brush your teeth. Because now what's happening? Take the mouthwash and put it in your mouth. Or if you don't own mouthwash or you're anti-mouthwash, you could take water, put some toothpaste into the water, you can mix it around, thereby making mouthwash. Now you have a liquid, you can now pour that into your mouth, take your dry toothbrush, if you want to get alashitas, take your dry toothbrush, put it in your mouth, brush your teeth with the mouthwash. Now any water that's going to be going into the bristles is going to simultaneously be coming out of the bristles. And then you put mouthwash in your mouth, again, one more time. You take mouthwash, it depends how big your mouth is. You take, yes.
You only put in a shot of
Doesn't make a difference. Memanashach, it's going to be moving around. It's all going to be coming in and out. What is that level? Good. That's one way. The other way is the chutshani. If you're nervous, the chutshani says as follows. He says, put your mouthwash in your mouth. Gargle, do whatever you want to do. That's between you and your mouthwash, but no one's watching. Then you spit it out. Then take the dry toothbrush, and now whatever bit of mouthwash is stuck in your teeth, utilize that. He says on that bit, you'll never run into a schita issue. It's too little, and you'll still get the intended result of utilizing the mouthwash and cleaning your teeth. Then if you want to use water and rinse, that's your own personal opinion. In Mirza Hashem, we could talk about all these things tomorrow or next week.